a bit of a home game here in San Jose for you. Can you just talk about how the mood is for this fight week compared to when you have to travel a bit more?
Oh man, it's a lot better. Flying from San Jose to Connecticut can be quite a bit of a haul. So just the weight cut and everything just goes a little bit easier, and I get to train a little bit longer at home and do the things like that. So it's like any other sport, like a lot of home games, and you got the home field advantage. And I feel like not having to travel on that travel day is going to help me tremendously when it comes to the weight cut and getting prepared.
I always like to ask, when you're fighting in your backyard, so to speak, I know everyone comes out of the woodwork, hey man, where's my ticket, can I get one? What is your nice way of telling your friends you got to pay with your own money?
Man, I don't really tell them that nicely. I just tell them, hey man, go to click the link in my bio and go find you a ticket, but don't buy the cheap ones. Buy the real expensive ones so you can see a little bit closer. So I don't really sugarcoat it, man. I make them all buy them.
I like your strategy. Talk a little bit about your fight with Michael Lombardo. Just how do you feel you match up with him, and what do you expect to see from him out there on Friday?
Mike looks like a tough guy. I've watched some film on him. He looks like a very tough guy. He's been around the sport for a long time. He comes from a great camp. 2 high-level wrestling coaches with Oklahoma State guys where I'm from, so I'm pretty familiar with those guys. And as far as matchup-wise, I think everybody knows my greatest strength. You can kind of see it in every time I fight. So I just think that's going to be hard. It's hard for anyone to deal with that, and the level that I've been able to keep growing it into not just a wrestler but an MMA wrestler. Being around the guys that I'm around at AK is just I can feel myself evolving, and I just think my greatest strength with anybody is years of experience as far as thousands of matches that I've wrestled and being in front of thousands of people, and my wrestling, I feel like I should be able to get the job done here. So.
My final question, I would be remiss if I don't ask you, obviously your teammate Cain Velasquez with his hearing yesterday, we know a lot of the AKA members were out there showing their support. Just what is your take on the situation and just the mood in the gym as you guys obviously process everything that's been happening?
Yeah, man, when I first heard it, it was really crazy, because I literally talked to him 2 days before. He comes to the gym every day and helps us, and I have a daughter, and obviously he has, a son and a daughter, and we sat down, and afterwards we were talking about our favorite Disney movies that we like to watch, and so to see all this happening to someone like that, man, it just shows you how backwards a lot of this legal shit is, and I think anyone, as a father now, I didn't realize when I was growing up, how much it actually means to be a parent. And I think, your biggest job now, even now, to what I do is to protect my kids and to protect my daughter. And man, I couldn't tell you if I wouldn't have done the same thing that he did if I found out something like that. So, I think they need to really look at this a little bit and realize who's really was in the wrong here. And I think the state of California could have done a little bit better by at least letting Cain's family know what their process was on this to kind of give them some, clarity, just to release a sexual predator or a child molester, whatever you want to call them, out back into the world just doesn't make sense to me. I'm from Oklahoma, man, and if you did something like that there, I don't think that guy ends up any different.
Hey, Kyle, we've seen combat sports brothers before in the Pettises, Pitbulls, and many others. I'm curious, has your brother Justin considered hopping into the MMA realm anytime soon?
Oh, man. No, I don't see him being much of a fighter, but you never know. I train him every now and then when I'm at home, but he's still in high school. He's winning state titles right now in wrestling, and he's one of the better kids in the country in wrestling. So you never know. But I think he's taller than me. He got the good genes in my family. A lot of my family members are about 6 foot and above, and they've all played Division I football. So I was the first one to kind of break the trend and went and wrestled. So yeah, man, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe one day. But my big thing for him right now is let's try to go to the NFL, so I can retire and go tailgate and get drunk all the time. Shit. So.
Hey Kyle, how you doing? Did you just say that Lombardo is training with some of your former coaches from Oklahoma State?
Well, they weren't my coaches, but they're alum. So King Mo was Oklahoma State, and Steve Mocco wrestled at Oklahoma State. So they weren't there when I was there, but you know those guys, right? They've done well in their sports as far as wrestling, obviously, and then Mocco's a big-time coach now in wrestling at ATT, and obviously everybody in here should know King Mo. So, yeah, man, they're Oklahoma State guys, and I'm pretty sure King Mo trained at AK a while back, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, he's down there with those guys. So he's learning. I'm just saying he's learning how to wrestle, and he's learning from some really good guys. So
do you feel like you know how they train, how they wrestle, and do you feel like that might give you an advantage, knowing that he's training with some guys that you know them, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of Oklahoma State guys do carry the same techniques, but I wouldn't say I do the things that I did in college in wrestling and MMA. Touching the knees a little bit, it's dangerous and things like that. But I would consider my stuff a little bit more American Dagestani now. I mean, we do a lot of trips and things like that you learn from, obviously, Habib and those guys. So, I'm just saying that guy's, he's around a bunch of really good coaches, but I still don't think that's going to make a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. And neither you or Lombardo have been finished in your pro careers. Do you envision that changing this Friday?
Man, we always said in college, you wrestle a 7-minute match, so you don't ever think about, I'm going to pin him in a minute, or I'm going to, do whatever I'm going to do to try to end the match quickly. You just go out there and you prepare for 7 minutes, and for MMA, I'm prepared for 15 minutes. I'm doing better at some of the things that allows you to finish guys in the gym against high-level guys. So, it could definitely happen, but mentally, man, I'm prepared for 15 hard minutes. And like you said, the guy hadn't been finished yet. So I'm just going to go out there and do the things that I do best and work to get my hand raised.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Nathan, go ahead.
As far as campus concerned, what areas have you seen the greatest growth in your game, at least from this last campus to previous?
I think for me, everything. I mean, I don't just train one specific thing. I still wrestle all the time. I'm striking, I'm grappling, I'm doing MMA wrestling, I'm doing MMA jiu-jitsu. So I would just say just overall MMA, man, and I feel a lot more relaxed when I'm sparring. I don't feel so tight and so tense. I'm not really afraid of things. I see a lot of things now that I used to not really be able to see. I just feel like I'm getting better everywhere, man. I train at the American Kickboxing Academy with some of the best guys in the world and some of the best coaches in the world. And they don't put you in situations where you're only growing in one or two different areas. They make sure that you're doing everything right, and they'll get in your ass if you're not. So I just feel like, for me personally, man, I just feel like I'm getting better everywhere, and I've only started this 4 years ago. So I know it's a long time, but like Tyrell was saying, you only get 10. This is my 10th fight. A lot of the guys in the top 10 on this rankings have 30, 25, 30 fights. So I'm just growing, man. I'm trying to get better, and that's just what I'm going to continue to do.
Last question for me. See that you've done a little bit of golfing in your spare time. How often do you like to get out on the links?
Oh, man, I golf a lot. I'm not very good, but I try. I try real hard. I even go and buy the nice shit to see if I can do well with it. But seems like the more nice stuff I buy, the less I do good. So I don't know, man. It's just a hobby. We're a bunch of violent men and women, and I think you need some peace to that. And I think golf is my kind of outlet to kind of go out there and just do something completely opposite than what we do every day.
Sean?
It's It's been good. It's been I did a 9-week camp. It's been really good, man. I like I said, I trained at the American Kickboxing Academy, AKA. So, you know, they've produced champions multiple times, and you know, I got to see Daniel Cormier and Habib and those guys go through full camps. And I didn't change anything. I'm not changing anything that they did. I saw exactly what they did, and you know, I just followed a blueprint. You know, I do the same exact things that they did. I haven't wavered. I haven't changed it, even though some days are crazy hard. But I feel like my camp's always good, man. I stay pretty consistent on what I'm doing, and you know, I feel like I'm a pretty durable guy. So that's been a great camp. Well, my first experience in actual MMA, I got to, right when I got out here to San Jose, DC was training for John Jones, and so I got to go, and DC and I wrestled at the same college, obviously not the same time, but you know, Cowboy family strong. So he took me everywhere he went, man. I got to see him do his camp. I got to see him spar. He showed me things during his camp. I got to go watch his media days. I got to pretty much live the life of a champion without being a champion. So, man, it's something that, you know, a lot of guys don't get to see. And I was very blessed, you know, to have someone like DC, who everybody knows in here is just a great guy, you know, and get to see someone who's so humble with everything in front of him. So I feel like, you know, I've been around some very high-level guys my whole life, and I think that's something that's been able to help me get to where I'm at today.